What is going on, garden fans? Welcome back to the Permaculture Homestead. I am at the project site in Gaston, South Carolina, Zone 8, and it is August 2025. You would think that everything's done, but we are just really getting this growing season started. There is so much growing on back here, and I'm going to give you a full, detailed look at not just the veggie garden today, but also the full food forest out there. So buckle up, prepare for a big one, come on back, and enjoy the journey. If you've been here for a while, you've probably seen this vegetable garden change throughout the year. I'm going to touch on a couple things that we got growing on out here. Certainly companion planted for the most part. We have basil, tomatoes, companion planted tomatoes, marigold, basil, peppers also here. This is just a huge companion planted food forest. Very diverse. We let everything go to flower, of course, for all the native bees and the honeybees. Eggplant is coming on right now at this time of year. And then once again, lots of marigold coming through. We have cucumbers out here. The bigger, taller crops are going to be okra, which are coming on, flowering and fruiting. Really big okra, finger long okra. And then some corn that's coming up currently. So really nice corn and green beans, traditional Three Sisters garden style here. Corn, green beans, peppers, ears of corn are coming on. They've silked up, starting to fatten up here at the end of the season. So the veggie garden itself has gone through many iterations. It changes throughout the year. Every season there's something growing different. And the owner's sister is over here. She's got a part of it tarped up for the fall planting. So I'm gonna kind of come over here and show you tarping. Doing a little bit of tarping over there. Just trying to prepare the soil for the fall crops, which is gonna be a lot of leafy greens, kales, collards, salad greens, and herbs and veggies that go with it. So vegetable garden looking pretty good at this time of year, garden fans. Even here in late August, we've been a little bit droughty, but have gotten enough rain to kind of sustain the food forest on its own. Now the food forest itself, if you've never been here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 swale patties and 5 swales going up this hill here. All the runoff water from each swale kind of has this common spillway, and that spillway water spills into the vegetable garden. So anytime these swales get really full in heavy rains or hurricane-like rains, all that spillway water is what's feeding our vegetable garden. Now here at the bottom of the hill, it's about time to do some pruning. Things have gotten very thick, very dense. We have this row of figs on a swale mound. We have a row of mayhaws, and then the understory shrub species is blueberries. Now, of course, the blueberries have come and gone. They're putting on some summer girth, and I just need to kind of come through here and kind of prune and shape things up. Get these blueberries ready for next year. Yeah, all the blueberries have certainly fruited and flowered early in the year. If you were here for some of the earlier updates, you would have seen that. But there's a lot of things that are fruiting and flowering right now here in August. And I want to touch on some of the things that are fruiting right now. As I work my way up the hill, the things just get more and more diverse. We have jujube right now, and we have jujube, Lee and Lang jujube, growing at a lot of different stages. We have some very fresh ones, and we have some on the tree that are kind of shriveling up and turning into a date. Another name for jujube is Chinese date, and if you pick them early like this, they got a little crunch to them, kind of like an apple, a crab apple. Kind of looks like a crab apple, tastes like an apple. But if you leave this on the tree until fall, starts to shrivel up, get softer and sweeter, and that's where it gets its other name, Chinese date, from. So all the jujube out here are absolutely loaded down with fruit. These have been very productive for the past 3 years. I highly suggest jujube for any tough growing conditions, terrible soils, droughty areas. These things grow in the crappiest of crappy soil. Great trees to have. Every pomegranate out here, this is a pomegranate shrub, is absolutely loaded down with pomegranates. And most of these are going to start turning color within the next month or so. You can already see them starting to turn red. You know, a couple up top that are getting red. These will be ready in another month or so. We have a Japanese persimmon here, absolutely loaded down. I can't even begin to tell you how heavy this thing is with fruit right now. So much fruit set, and none of these persimmon are going to be ready for another month or so. But this is probably the biggest harvest of persimmon we've had on this tree so far. And we have another persimmon up the hill a little bit. I'll show you that one too. Of course, companion planted. We got comfrey under most of our trees out here. So jujube, pomegranate, persimmon coming on. Here's another pair of jujube trees. And then we got this shrub layer, shrub species, pineapple guava, absolutely loaded down. We've got a few pineapple guava shrubs out here at the farm site, 4 of them actually, and every single one of them is just heavily loaded. We haven't been in a drought, but we also haven't gotten regular rains. We've actually gotten very heavy rains at times. Here are 2 of our plum trees that have already fruited, flowered for the year. Still looking really good. Another pomegranate here. Once again, absolutely loaded down with heavy fruits. This is going to be a big year for pomegranate. Here's another pomegranate here at the top of the hill. And here at the top of the hill, we're getting more into our nut species. So I've got a couple hazel nuts that are ready to be harvested. The paper husk has dried, exposing the nut. And now I just need to kind of come through here, pull all these husks off, let them dry up even further, and then the nuts basically fall out of that nut within the next month or so. So a lot of hazelnuts on this shrub, huge shrub. Really like hazelnut as a hedgerow or a border, a windbreak, a border for a property. Hazelnuts are great. I love them. New favorite nut tree. Very thick, very dense, great for birds. And in between these 2 patches of hazelnut, another pomegranate tree, looking great. We circle around here. We got a fig, got a pecan tree, pecan, wherever you're from, doesn't matter. Flanked on this nut tree is this fig, and then more pineapple guava. And here again, this guy is loaded down. Excellent looking fruit. There are going to be a lot of pineapple guava out here, garden fans. These guys love this climate. Another big one growing right now and putting on nuts is the Chinese chestnut. This guy is looking great. You can see the nut there inside that spiky ball. Absolutely loaded down again this year. Here again, every year. And of course, companion planted, mostly comfrey. But then we have a nitrogen fixing gummy berry right next to it. So this Chinese chestnut is really loving life with its companions. It's got a nutrient accumulator and it's got a nitrogen fixer. So not hurting for life at all. Let me see if I can, that one's not even cracked open yet. Here's a couple more. Chinese chestnut has been really good for our zone. Seems to be a little more pest and disease tolerant than the American chestnut. Hasn't struggled with blight at all, which is one of the big ones for chestnut. And it's really starting to get very tall, very big. I'm going to step back just a bit to kind of give you a broad look at the food forest. Right next to that Chinese chestnut, we got a plum tree, an Ozark plum. And I probably told you before, this guy's about topped out. But this nut tree next to it is not quite done growing yet. Next to that, you're going to see that hazelnut hedge that was growing, kind of in the shadow of it, not really even in the shadow. And then some more of those jujube filling the spaces. And here again, these jujube are absolutely loaded down this year, every single one of them. These are very heavy producers for us. This great plant, once again, for any crappy climate or crappy growing conditions you might have. These guys are just great for anywhere. So we've got a couple jujube, hazelnuts, Chinese chestnut, got a plum tree next to that. Believe it or not, there is a mulberry tree in here that is a pollinator for all the other mulberries, kind of hiding here in the canopy. Here's another pecan tree, getting very large. It really enjoys having this gummy berry next to it for nitrogen fixation, this companion plant, this nurse plant. And this is really blown up this year. Finally starting to look like a true nut tree. Getting big. What else we got fruiting right now? More pomegranate. Pears are coming on. We got a couple pear trees out here. This is a pineapple pear, basically an Asian pear. Hard Asian bottling pear. We have one olive tree here that made it through all of our winters over the past 2 years and is finally getting kind of tall. So got some hope for that olive tree. We have another Chinese chestnut right over there in the landscape, also putting on lots of nuts. Basically kind of getting into the swing of things here, garden fans. This place is super thick, it's super dense. We're due for a summer chop and drop, just to kind of make some space and make some room for everything that's going to be growing during the fall. Here's another mulberry tree right here. Let me kind of meander my way through here. Here is another plum tree. We have all types of edible ground covers, blackberry, mint, lemon balm. We have a loquat tree here. I've been raising the canopy a little bit, allowing for some airflow, and a lot of that chop and drop just goes right under the tree as a mulch layer. So a really thick mulch layer. I've raised the canopy some to allow for some airflow, and this should help this guy really get big and tall for next season. Starting to bud up. This won't truly flower until about December or January, and then it'll start setting its fruit after that. So already starting to bud up for the winter. Here is the other Japanese persimmon we have here on site, the pollinator for the other one. So we got 2 Japanese persimmon, and like I said, just absolutely loaded down. There's so much fruit on here, weighing this tree down. I can't even begin to tell you how abundant we're going to be this year out at the project site. I'm going to step back one more time and give you a broad look at the place. I want to talk about some of the wild things that we let grow. Once again, let me step back here just so you can get a look at this place, broad look at it. Very thick, very dense, certainly not row and column style, different colors, different shapes, and the way it all comes together is just a symphony of beauty in my eyes. Weeds, quote unquote, things that I let grow are sumac. This is winged sumac. You can denote that by the wings in between the leaf pairs. I let these things grow because it's a great late source of pollen and nectar for our honeybees. So you're going to see a lot of honeybees out here. Lot of honeybees out here working the flower heads of the sumac here. So I try to let things like goldenrod grow. I try to let these local native weeds grow because they end up being pollinator sources, late pollinator sources for our bees, which are using that to build up their stores for the winter. At the very bottom of the hill here, you can get a different view. We've got a row of pawpaws, pawpaw, and they are kind of covered or being nursed by gummy shrubs. And once again, step back, give you a better look at this. So from the bottom of the hill, we got those figs on the mound, we got the pawpaw beneath it, and then in between the two of them are our gummy berry. Now I prune these back heavily. This is what I'm talking about. We're due for a summer pruning. I just need to come through here, kind of cut things back to about 4 feet tall, and allow the sunlight of fall to get through here to the pawpaw. Now that the weather is not so hot, I can cut that nurse crop down and allow the pawpaw to thrive and to flourish. I'm going to step back one more time, give you a broad look at the place. Garden fans, this place looks beautiful. We've been working on this food forest for quite a few years, and it has truly gotten to the, I would say, self-sufficient point where all I'm doing every year is a couple times a year pruning. We're wood chipping in the spring, and we're harvesting, and that's about it. There's no pesticides, no herbicides, no fungicides, no fertilizers, nothing like that. We try to grow our own fertilizer and companion plant with things like comfrey and nitrogen fixing crops. We allow a lot of the native weeds to grow. We have ornamentals out here, like crepe myrtle. Once again, another late source of pollen and nectar for the bees. This truly is a fully functioning, fully self-sustainable food forest. And if you've been following for some time, you've seen this place come from a couple sticks in the ground to now this, a flourishing, thriving, productive food forest that, believe it or not, is still not even a teenager. We're going on about year 8, year 9 out here. So we're not even 13 years old with this food forest. It's still a baby, and there's still a lot of room to grow. We're gonna do a little swale maintenance here in the distant future during the fall, but I'm gonna end it here. I appreciate y'all coming out as always, garden fans. If you got any questions about anything in general, just ask. And I appreciate y'all coming. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do all those YouTube things that really help us out. We really could use your support. So we thank you for coming out. God bless.